Okay, so I'm apologizing in advance. I'm extremely emotional, but I need to talk about this because it's really fucking me up right now. Okay, so last night, I decided to finally touch my stomach. I told y'all I felt like my stomach, my uterus was enlarging more. I have adenomyosis, which is an enlarged uterus, and the doctor recommends that I have a hysterectomy, but I live abroad and I can't afford the surgery. And I had started experiencing pain again, like the same level of pain that I had experienced, like the first and the second time that I noticed my stomach hardening. Like the first time I noticed it was hard, it was like much lower down. It was like at the bottom of my stomach near my fupa. And then I noticed it rising up. And it was like both times, it was after like these really painful episodes. So I had a painful episode like that this week. And I just was scared to even. So last night I was like, let me just touch it and just see where I'm at with it. It's getting worse. It is. So, I'm so sorry. Oh, come on. So, last night I was just laying in bed and I was just thinking about how I got here. Because, they say that this is caused by stress and high cortisol and all of this stuff. And I was just thinking about my life and how much of my life, how much of myself, my energy I've given away, only to find myself completely alone and no contact with all the people that I've given myself to and labored for and tried to be in community with, right? And then what triggered me now is, oh fuck, pull it together. I just saw, hold on. So I have been no contact with my family since 2022, and that includes my stepfather and my stepbrother. My stepfather passed away in 2023, and I was very sad about it, but it's nothing I could really do. I live in another country. I'm not in contact with my family. At the time I was talking to my niece, she told me the news. But I never did anything with that information. I mourned, I grieved, and I just kind of moved on. Today, I was Googling myself because I was looking for something that I had done in college. And my name popped up on this obituary. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's my father's obituary. And stay with me because this shit is so crazy. These motherfuckers completely erased my mother. I'm gonna read this shit to y'all. This shit is so crazy. The reason why it's fucking with me because it's like we as black women, we take care of so many people and we just get discarded and disposed of. I'm gonna read y'all this. I don't even know what the fuck you call. What do you call these things? I don't even know what you call it. But it's the obituary. Duh, it's the obituary. And I'm gonna read y'all my response so you'll fully understand my frustration. So it says on Monday, October 9th, 2023, at Christ the King Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. Ellen J. I'm trying to use people's names. So Ellen J. is going to be the initials for my stepdad. Who, let me be clear. Growing up, I never made the distinction that he was my stepfather. I never introduced him as my stepfather. He never introduced us as his stepchildren or his girlfriend's children. We were always his children. My mother was always his wife. Okay, my mother passed away in 2008. That's important to mention. She obviously died a lot earlier than my father did. They were together until she died. They were living in the same house. He cared for her until her death. And so I thought that she was honored, right? She had a funeral, people showed up. But listen to how they erased my mother. Listen to this shit, okay? On Monday, October 9th, 2023, at Christ the King Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio, Ellen J. departed this life to be with the Lord. He was born on December 30th, 1956 in Lee County to the late, they name all their people. Let me go on down. They talk about okay, this is where it gets crazy. He left South Carolina to reside in New Jersey. He met my mother in New Jersey. After working several odd jobs along with his brothers, he found employment with Regional Recycling in North New Jersey. It was actually in Elizabeth, New Jersey. You would know that if y'all were actually a part of his life at the time, but y'all really weren't. My mother and my father were together the entire time that he was at Regional Recycling. He got the job when they were courting, before he even moved into our house and all that stuff. The entire time, he worked there for 15 years. Okay. He was employed there for 10 plus years. They would know it was 15 years if they were actually active in his life. It was actually 15 years. He literally went to prison, came out, he did 3 years in prison, came back and went back to the same job. They hired him back. Listen, this shit is so crazy. He was employed there for 10 plus years. He later moved to Atlanta, Georgia. He moved to Atlanta, Georgia with my mother and my sister. My sister got a job teaching for America, Teach for America. She was placed in Atlanta. My mother always wanted to live in Atlanta, so she used her Section 8 voucher and moved to Atlanta. And my father went with her, obviously. But he moved to Atlanta. Then to Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio is where I'm from. It's where my whole family is from. They moved to Columbus, Ohio when my mother got diagnosed with cancer to live with me. No mention of that. Okay, fine. Got it. He was employed, wait. Columbus, Ohio, where he was the manager of the meat department of Kroger's groceries until retirement. You know how he got that job at Kroger's? Because he was a felon. He had a hard time finding employment. I helped him get that job. I worked at Franklin County Children's Services, and we had a list of jobs that hired felons. Not only did I help him get a job at the time, I also helped my sister's ex-husband get a job because he was also a felon. But okay, we get no credit in here. No credit. My mother, all her labor, gets no credit. She housed this man for most of his adult life. And when I say housed, I mean housed. But I'm going to keep reading. Let me keep reading. He leaves to cherish his fond memories, one son. Then they list his brothers, my father's brothers and sisters, which all of them whom I knew. Then they list 3 grandchildren. Even though my son was the first grandchild, and my father always called, as a matter of fact, there was a time when my son called my father daddy. Because my mother called my father daddy, and we also called him daddy, so my son called him daddy. And my son thought he was his daddy. We had to go through this whole exercise after he got this assignment in school, like in pre-K, where they had to list off all their relatives' names. He was literally devastated when he found out that my father wasn't his father, right? My son was the first child to call him granddaddy. But my son is listed as a special grandson. Okay, so he lists, I'm sure my stepbrother did this. So he lists who used to come to our house every summer. But let me finish. He lists the 3 grandchildren of my brother, my stepbrother. And then goes on to say 2 special children he helped raise, which would be my sister and myself. Then he goes on to say 1 special grandson, which would be my son. And that's it. They never mentioned my mother. Never. So I responded back, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to post because it says we have to approve all things, but I hope at least they'll forward it to my brother. I said, no mention of Lavella Edwards. That's my mother's name. I said she housed, fed, and clothed this man for most of his adult life. He couldn't afford to live on his own. He moved from a weekly stay hotel into our house. I said he moved into her Section 8 housing with 2 trash bags of clothes and a Casio keyboard. That motherfucker ain't have a lick of furniture. He ain't have literally not a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Okay. She allowed him to cosplay as the man of the house when it was her who maintained a roof over his head. They lived together for over 20 years until her passing. Over 25, actually. He spent more of his life living with Lavella Edwards and her 2 children, Love Maya and my sister, than he spent with his biological son, who would come to visit in my mother's house every summer. He came every summer. I said, my father would be appalled that y'all have erased and discarded my mother like this. He identified her as his wife and life partner for over 25 years, and we all know the only reason they didn't legally marry is because he couldn't financially provide, and my mother couldn't risk her Section 8 housing that housed his ass too. And I actually directed this directly to my stepbrother, and I said his name. You literally wouldn't have had a home to come to each summer if it wasn't for my mother. She would cook home-cooked meals for you and go through so much effort to make you feel welcome. This is appalling, insensitive, and wildly hurtful to see. Shame on you. Please remove my name from this site. You tried to make your father some hero and erase my mother and all she contributed. This is truly heartbreaking, and it confirms I made the right decision to never talk to you again. I went no contact with him first. I went no contact with my brother first. He was the first person that I actually went no contact with in my family, like that I consider family. And I'm so glad I made the right decision. Like, I can't even believe that he would allow this to happen. After everything my mother gave, my mother took good care of that man. And granted, like, I would say they had a 50-50 relationship because she was responsible for ensuring that the housing was stable. And I really kind of mean like most of the housing, because she got food stamps, she got housing. There were even times where she got like stipends or like some kind of utility check or whatever. And y'all can act like Section 8, that you don't got to do no work for that, but that shit, you got to jump through hoops. And especially to get a voucher where you can actually move from state to state to state. My mother maintained all her paperwork. She went to all appointments. She made sure that man consistently had housing over a roof over his head. And for them just to erase him, like, my mother took care of that man. Like, my mother was one of those mothers. He would get the big piece of chicken. When he got home from work, everybody had to quiet down and the noise had to stop. And, like, when I say she let him cosplay as the man of the house, and they completely erased my mother after, like, that's the one person my mother was absolutely good to. This is what life gets you. Like, I just hope if nothing else, young women and girls watching this, do not give yourself away to no man, because they will fucking erase you in the end. They will erase you, deny you. You will find yourself, child. I never looked up the obituary before. And my niece told me what happened, and it was like I was going through a lot of other shit in my life at the time too. This is crazy. I'm trying to think, like, did I see this before? I don't think I saw this before. And like, this shit is crazy. This is crazy. And then wait, after you write your comments, you have to put your name. I put my real name, and you also have to put your email. I put kissmyass@gmail.com. I'm laughing, but this is so sad. Oh, I don't want to be like my mother. I love my mother, but I don't want to have given my whole life to something and then just be discarded and not given credit. Like, and I think about all the ways I've already done that. I took care of so many people, and now I'm sick and I have nobody to take care of me. I really hope, young women, you choose yourself. Choose yourself.